Guys, you must have known about the Titanic mystery. Even if you ask a 10-year-old boy about the Titanic mystery, then he will definitely tell you that it was a giant iceberg that bumped with the Titanic ship. But some survivors claim that it was not an iceberg who took lives of many people. An Armenian writer, Vagenak Buret, was 25 years old in year 1912. He described what happened on his journey to America on the most famous ship, whose name was Titanic. Well, he was one of the survivor of Titanic. For your kind information, let me tell you that on the 10th of April 1912, Titanic started journey from Southampton towards the America. Now back to the story. In 1912, Vagenak published some books together with his father. His task was to take the books to America. Due to some health problems, he was denied at the consulate first, but after all, due to his father's reputation, he got the papers he needed to enter into the America. After this, Vagenak caught the Orient Express train and reached to Southampton. There he saw that the nearest ship departing for the New York was Titanic. He was pretty excited about the journey and arrived at the port. He met 3 men with whom he shared cabin 804. They were 2 Englishmen and a French guy named Moraine. Moraine and Vagenak became friends because Vagenak could speak excellent French and also they were of same age. Both of them spent their good time on Titanic. But now the day has come. They went to bed rather late on April 14th, just like on the other nights. Shortly after midnight, something that sounded like a big explosion woke everyone up. They left the cabin. Vagenak only took his passport and all the cash he had, about $54. It was clear that something was wrong, because there was a silence in the corridor also. Moraine tried to find out what was going on. None of the crew members wanted to say anything. But a few minutes later, it was the shocking scene in front of their eyes, that the Titanic was going underwater. Vagenak noticed that the sailors were getting the lifeboats out and commanded with firing that they were only for women and kids. After seeing all this, they decided to save themselves by jumping in the water. They both wanted to live and both knew that they can swim well. They put on their life vests and Ryder put his passport and money in a little bag and tied it around his neck. The half part of the Titanic was already underwater by that time. So, Vagenak and Moraine jumped and got instantly separated by a sudden wave. The water in the North Atlantic that night was just below freezing, around -2 degrees Celsius. Vagenak felt his arms and legs go numb. He was getting weaker and weaker every second. He also lost his life vest. And now only hope for survival was a lifeboat. Before he fainted, he just bumped with something. It was a lifeboat, but the boat was so overcrowded. They pushed him with the paddle. He begged for help, but they refused to do so, because one extra man in that boat could have made it sink. The lifeboat left from there, and you know guys what happened after is a miracle. Vagenak woke up alive on another ship. That ship was the Carpathia, and it was en route to New York with the lucky survivors on board. Vagenak had a terrible headache. He could not remember anything. That how did he survive? When the ship reached to New York, Vagenak was taken to the hospital. 12 days later, a woman came into his room. Her name was Asta. She started crying after seeing him. She turned out to be the person who saved Vagenak. Asta told him that the lifeboat he tried to get into did not actually leave without him. Asta told the sailors that this young man was her son, and she would not let them go without him, because she had already lost her husband on the Titanic. Asta returned little bag to him, which he had forgotten on Carpathia ship. After Ryder recovered, the writer was reunited with his family in Boston. He even received all the books he planned to sell in America. After that, as a great storyteller, he shared his story about Titanic. But interestingly, he never mentioned an iceberg hitting the Titanic. He always spoke about the explosion. If he was true, then definitely something must have caused that huge explosion. It could have been a fire, and quite a lot of people actually believed that theory. The belief that the coal was burning in the ship's lower part, and that fire started long before the ship's departure, and the flames weakened the lower part of the Titanic so much, so it could not survive its meeting with an iceberg. Some survivors claimed that there was a German U-boat involved in the sinking of Titanic because they heard some explosion sounds coming from somewhere deep in the lower part of the ship, and they also claimed that they had seen a searching light coming from some ship shortly after Titanic had sunk. They claimed that it could have actually been a submarine. But guys, till now, all these theories of survivors has not been proved. Let's hope that in the future, scientists will be able to explain all the mysteries surrounding the Titanic. So guys, that's all for today. Now it's time for you to comment and tell me that do you believe an explosion might have killed Titanic or there was an iceberg at all. But as always, thanks for watching.